Hey everyone. There you are. Yes. Hey everyone. Hey, I wanted to take some time out of my very busy day to do this video, and I know Blondie hates these videos. This is not an ace video in my vehicle, I promise. So I promise it's not. But there's some shit going on right now, and I think that one of those deals. I don't normally respond to people on the. I just don't get in that. Even the whole politics stuff, and it just it's whatever. I mean, I just don't. But there's some stuff that's going on, and now we have people. It's people jumping in, and it's like it. Anyway, I need to come in right now and hopefully make you guys understand what's going on, where Blondie and I are, and what's happening. Um, so just a little background, just a little background. I've been racing motorcycles for a long time. 58 broken bones. I have more championships. You guys have seen this. I have more championships than if you put all the people at the track together. I have more championships. That's why they call. Well, there's one of the reasons they call me the champ. Okay. Yes. Now, more importantly than winning a bunch of races and riding a dirt bike really well is I've always been an ambassador to the sport because I love the sport and what it's done for me and what it's done for my kids. I raised both my son and my daughter racing motorcycles. And most of you understand, Gunner's a crew chief, the number one crew chief in the Marines, number one. Okay. And if you look back, one of the reasons he's so successful is it came out of motocross and everything that taught him. So an ambassador of the sport. Now, just a little history here, and this is important to what all this is about. Just a little history. Wills One Militia is the name of my race team. Wills One Militia. The three founding members of Wills One Militia were me, my daughter, and my son, 2001. Wills One Militia. Okay. And so Wills One Militia goes back a long time. Now, moved to Texas, met Blondie in Lubbock, was racing a lot then too. And then we moved to Austin in 2013, her and I did. And, anywhere that I went, even in Lubbock, I got, the, there was, people up there that wanted to organize things. And because of who I was with Toyota, yeah, let's do it. Okay, let's do it. And we did. And it was it's the series, the big size Texas series, very successful. One of the biggest series in the state right now, West Texas. Okay. Well, same thing. Like with my power with Toyota, who's what was the number one supporter of Supercross and motocross. When I got to Austin, we planted here, and then the first thing is like, hey, where can we ride? Where can we race? And we immediately went out to Del Valley and talked to Dennis. And there was this little brand new track starting called Murphy's, who was just a practice track for Will and and his brothers. Really, I was even before the boys really started. And again in 13, and we I found out right away, it was really weird that there was no centralized location in this area online that people could go find out what was going on. Yes, that whole north quarter, yeah, they had, they got their website, and I'm not going to talk about that, and they got their big giant click up there of the racetracks, and then and then you had like some of the Houston tracks, but there was nothing, like what's going on around here? What's happening? Where can we go ride? And in 13, that's when Audra and I created Austin Motocrossing. Right at that same time, I did something at a Toyota dealership that no one has ever done, ever, and will never do. Okay. So when I say that it's never been done before, you can take that to the bank. It's never been done before. And what I'm talking about is we brought extreme. This is when X Games came to Austin, and I got with the owner of the Toyota store. This is unheard of. The liability. Okay. I got with the owner of the Toyota store, and we brought extreme experience to Bastrop at the Toyota store, where we had the help of King and some other, I mean, some great folks in this business. We had freestyle motocross. We had a half pipe for skateboarders and BMX. And I'm going to tell you something. It was huge. We did it 2 years in a row. 2 years. I'm going to tell you, Gulf States Toyota, they they were so far up. They're like, no. In Gulf, for those of you who don't, Gulf States Toyota runs everything in the Gulf States as far as Toyota does. Nothing happens. Well, they didn't like all this. People can get hurt, and they're going to sue, not only sue the dealership, but they're going to sue Toyota. Anyway, 2 years we did it. Extreme Experience and Extreme Experience 2. It's something that's never happened. It will never happen probably on a dealership, at a dealership. Okay. Yes. We brought a half pipe in. It was the Gypsy. It was a folded up half pipe. You guys have seen the half, and then it folded out. And they were doing skateboard. I mean, we had kids. Anyway, Austin area motocross scene. Me. Yeah. And then we started talking about having a series. And then 14, I brought together a bunch of people at the beginning of the year. We got with Chris, who was running Del Valley at that time. And we got with Will Murphy and Christy, and said, and again, they have a starting gate, they had no fencing, they had no scoring, I said, listen, I got this grand idea of having a series, not just any series. You know how many series I've been involved with? I can't even count them. Some really great, some awful. Okay? And I said, I want to put together the greatest series that Texas has ever known. And I want to give out 6-foot trophies to the champions. Now, I did a lot of research, and some people that have been in Texas their whole lives have said, well, I remember there was a 6-foot trophy race, but I couldn't find it. And I checked with everyone, including Tony Miller, who probably knows. Okay, but I couldn't find it. It had 6-foot trophy race anywhere or anything. So I'm like, we're going to do 6-foot trophies. I mean, it's 2 races at Del Valley, 2 races at Murphy's, and we called it the Austin Area Championship Series. Okay. Now, for those of you that remember, and I know a lot of you do, and some of you have those 6-foot trophies in your basement, it was a great trophy. It was a series that was magnificent. I had live music. I mean, we had, yes. And I'm going to tell you something. Will and Chrissy really stepped up because they had to build fencing. They had but they were ready. They were ready. And we had a great series to the point where everybody's like, dude, you need to do that again. Well, how the whole announcing thing started, and again, this is going to be a long video. I hope you watch the whole thing because you understand what's going on. There's a point to everything that I'm saying for what's happening right now. The reason that the announcing came in is this is 8 months before the series, and I brought a team together, and we started having meetings about, listen, we're going to have a series, and we covered everything, including porta pots. Okay, how do we keep the porta pots clean? I've seen it all. I know it all when it comes to a motocross race. Okay. And so, this was bad. I saw that this was really good. We even had a 30-second card goer. We brought the national 30-second card girl. We had the whole thing. Vendors. Yeah. Well, how the whole announcing thing was, I'm like, listen, we got to get an announcer that is off the charts. Okay, off the charts. Yeah, because I'm tired of going to motocross races and the announcer is up next, race number 3, and followed by race number 4. Okay, now I'm not pointing out anyone. I'm telling you, I've raced at all the big. I've raced at all horrible announcers. This is the greatest sport on the planet, the most exciting sport on the planet, the most physically demanding sport on the planet, the most dangerous sport on the planet. It should have an announcer that is on crack, cocaine, all that, like snorting 5 hours. That kind of announcer. The sport deserves it. Well, I can't remember, Coach Sagey or something. So I'm like, bro, you're the guy. And I'm like, no. They're like, no, you're really the guy. And that's what did it. That's what started. I did the 4 races, and it was, for those you remember, and I had never announced a race before. Never announced a race. Okay? Yeah. Well, that was in 14. 25. We handed out 25 6-foot trophies to the champions, and second place through 5th place all got a 3.5 foot wood. These were wood trophies, like solid. Okay, solid. If you ask Blondie and I took 12 grand out of our pockets and bought the trophies, the 6-foot trophy, or, the 1 through 5, including the 6 foot. 12 grand. Ask her how she feels about that. Out of her pocket. Who does that? Who does that? Yeah. We created Austin area motocross scene to bring people together in a Facebook page, really, not a website, but a Facebook page, so people could come. Hey, what's going on? And that was the whole thinking. Okay, people could congregate there. Oh, right. Well, Murphy's is open this weekend. Del Valley, Psycho Ranch back, whatever, oh, they're having a race, yes. And they could, or I'd post stuff from all over Texas. I'd post stuff from all over the country. I'd post stuff from all over the world, and we still do. That little Facebook page reaches 150,000 people a month now through all the channels. That's not a joke. Yeah, 150,000 people worldwide through that stupid little channel. Okay? Now, and again, if you're hanging on, great. There's a point to all of this. During that series, I had an idea that we were going to take Will's One Militia, and I created a new logo because we created the Austin area motocross scene logo, which is fantastic. And right here, created that logo. Okay, yeah. And I had, I'm like, okay, we need to create a new logo for Militia. And that's how the new logo came out with Bodine on there. Okay, yeah. Now, nothing else, like, I didn't know, because, I was still racing in 14 a lot. And so, it's like, okay, we need a new logo and I started putting it on my gear. Anyway, in fast forward to 2017, 2018, I was leaving the car business in 18. I was leaving it after almost 20 years. It was done. It was over. And some of you have heard the story. I was done. Okay. It had kicked me in the teeth for the last time. I was done. I didn't know what I was going to do. I had no backup. I didn't have another. Blondie is like, what? I literally went in and told Penske I was not going to be there anymore. Yes. That was it. And I walked out. No plan. No plan. I just knew I was done with that. 14 hours a day, 15 hours a day, like every holiday. It didn't matter what you did. It was not enough. promoting people that were scum, but on and on and on. Yes, didn't know. So I started sending resumes out and even had some interviews. And again, this all has a reason. This whole story has a reason. I promise. So if you're hanging on, start doing resumes. I'm interviewing with people that are half my age that have a quarter of my experience, and I'm like, I literally just get up and walk out of the interview. Get up and walk out. I'm like, no. And this thing was buzzing in my head. And it was really the idea of militia. The idea of it. And it just kept bugging me. Like it was just there. And and I just started pitching stuff to Blondie and she would give me that weird look and then I'd start talking about something else. And then, I'd start talking about this and about, and then start talking about this. And anyway, at the end of 18, yeah, right after, like maybe several months after I left the car business, this is not a joke. I spent $800 and sent a request into the government. Okay. Sent a request into the government to trademark the logo and the company. Didn't even have a company. But I knew where this was going. I spent $800. Bonnie's like, what? Yeah, I'm like, and we got, I got all this stuff, and I just started. And here was my idea. Here's my idea. We were going to create a company that was focused around people that were living their lives to the max, whatever that meant, something that they were passionate about, like I was about motocross, like Blondie is about running and sports and weightlifting and all fitness and nutrition. What are you a freak about? Golf, whatever it is. I wanted us to be involved in it. And what clothing, gear, equipment, okay? But a step further than that, as I started researching and okay, who can we go into partners with? There was nobody making anything in America. Nobody. There was no shoe companies. None here in America. Barely any clothing companies. Everything was made outside in these sweatshops all over the world. And I'm like, that's it. That's it. We're going to make everything right here. Everything is going to be made right here. We're going to go back to the old days when America was making shit. We're going to get people great paying jobs. We're going to build the best quality stuff that people can be proud of. The militia. That's what we're going to do. Yes, a manufacturing facility here where we're going to make everything here. Everything. Here. That was 2018. Right at that same time. I am watching, and again, this is closing in on the whole point of this video. I'm watching the straight line, Red Bull straight line, and you guys will remember this. There was a couple riders that were racing replica dirt bikes, 2 strokes, right? And they had replica gear from that time era. It was beautiful. Like, oh my gosh. Well, I didn't think much of. I was, I loved the straight line, whatever. But that week there was a article in one of the motocross magazines that came across my feed, and here was a guy named Michael Lieb who was a motocross pro, outdoors supercross, and he had this grand idea of creating a motocross gear company that was making their gear in America. And that gear, he made that gear. He made that gear for those 2 riders. You know what I did? And Michael and I happen to be Facebook friends. I'm like, I know that guy. Anyway, I sent him a message through Facebook. I'm like, bro, we need to talk. And Michael and I talked, okay? And he told me about this whole thing that he's going to buy a manufacturing facility. He's going to buy the equipment. He's going to train the people. He's going to find the greatest materials. He's going to listen, all my little buddy out there and my people that are, listen, none of you raced for Fox. None of you. I did. None of you raced for Thor. I did. Okay? None of you raced for some of the largest gear companies in the world. No, I did. And I'm not talking about like you get 20% off. I'm talking about they sent me gear. None of you. Yeah? I did. I know exactly what I'm talking about, the gear. I was very frustrated with the gear. And I picked on Fox, and I'll pick on him right now. Because after one race, the stitching came out in the knee, the whole thing's falling apart. I would call them out on the West Coast. I would call them. Racer support and say, hey, bro, listen, man, that shit you sent me, right? One ride, one race, whatever. They're like, oh, we'll send you some more. I'm like, I'm not calling you for more. I'm just like, because to me, factory riders are the test monkeys. Yes, yes. You try the stuff out and then let the factory know what's going on. Well, here's where Fox was at that time. And I can say this because it's 100% true. They were corporate. All that mattered was the bottom line. They're making their stuff in sweatshops across the world and don't care about quality. What's the shame is they started just like we're starting out on the West Coast. Small, going to races, here, try our gear. That company that all of us grew up, Fox, all of us, it's not that company anymore. Like a lot of stuff that's happened in corporate. Okay? They lost where they began. Well, quality. Like really? Gloves? Like falling apart? Like like really? The most expensive and the number one logo, recognized logo for extreme sports, Fox, by far. By far. Okay? Yes. When I talked to Michael, we both had the same, like, he was frustrated with gear, and he's like, oh, can you believe there's nobody making motocross gear in America? I'm like, listen, and I told him my idea of Will's One Militia, and let's put it together. I want you to make our gear out there in the manufacturer. I want you to make our gear. Yes. That was in 2018. Now listen, nobody here locally was pushing any gear at that time. Nobody. When we started this, so it was and then like several months later, he would send me the pants. Okay, now we're not ready to sell it yet, but I want to, okay. So I'm wearing it. I'm like, okay, yeah. And in the meantime, there were some local guys that were trying to make a movement of selling local gear. Some of them didn't last very long. Okay, yeah, okay. And finally we were able, like it was probably a year after, so in 19, early or mid 19, we were able to start selling the jerseys, which a lot of you got our jerseys, but there were no pants because they hadn't had the machine that makes these pants. Okay. So we started selling the jerseys just without the gear. Everybody's like, bro, I love the jersey. When are you going to get the pants? No, I know. Well, here's the thing with Michael. He was not going to put half-ass stuff out there just to have it out there. I like that. I like it. It's only going to be the best. I like it. I don't care how long it takes. Well, In the meantime, and I don't know when it was, but all of a sudden there's this company showing up at the local tracks that I was announcing at, and they're pushing their motocross gear. Now, did I go over and say, whoa, 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 this is our area? This is my area. Did I? No. You know what I actually did? I helped them grow their damn company. I advertised it on Austin Air Motocross Scene. I advertised it when I was talking on the mic, even interviewing, even helped a series that they put together as a brother. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I don't do that motocross stuff or announcing. I don't make any money. Sometimes I don't even make enough money to pay for the gas now. The diesel in the beast. Why? Every time I'm shattering my vocal cords. Every time we put on a show for you. Every time Blondie is out there in the heat getting the pictures that we don't charge riders for. Why? Who in their right mind would do that? Name. Okay? I'm going to tell you something. If that doesn't prove my love for the sport and for our moto family local, I don't know what else does. I don't know. Okay? We are here to promote the sport. I've interviewed companies that I actually thought were pretty okay, but I still interviewed them, put them, at whatever. Yes. Promoting the tracks. Some maybe I shouldn't have, but promoting the tracks. Building this sport up. Okay? Some people are like, oh my God, I love the way you interview the kids. I would rather all day long, no offense to my pro buddies, whatever. Okay, I love you guys too, but I would rather interview the littles all day long, the stuff that comes out of their mouth. But guess who the future of the sport's with? Them. And so, yeah, if we can make them feel like superstars, yeah. Now, let's keep going with this. 30 minutes, I don't care. This is really for me. So, a year and a half ago, we finally got the pants. Oh, no, sorry, 2 years ago, we got the pants for the adults. And a year and a half ago, we got the jerseys for the kids. We could start moving them. And that's when Blondie and I decided to put together the second version of Wheels One Militia, the race team. Now, anyone can tell you that's on the team, I didn't promote it. Did you see me say, hey, come be part of the team? Hey, we'll give you a sponsorship. Did anybody see me post that? No, because it didn't happen. Okay? Here's what did happen. Okay? Some little ones came up to me when I had and they're like, hey, what's this all about? And, we had a couple little ones say, well, how do I get on the racing team? I said, well, let me tell you. Okay? This is it. And then we made jerseys for them, and then all of a sudden it started exploding. Like other kids were like, we're talking like, where'd you get that jersey? How did you get that? That's the greatest jersey ever. Like, it's like, what am I got? And then all of a sudden, everyone that's on our motocross team, including our two from Ohio, reached out to us. We didn't reach out to anyone. We didn't go to anyone and we said, well, we really like you on our race team. Now, does that seem arrogant? No, it's not arrogant. It's the starting point to what we believe in our partnership. It's a family. It really is a family. It's a partnership. You would ask, I would say, well, it's part of the mafia. Like, we're going to do a blood oath and like, we're in this thing forever. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's part of it is I'm not begging anyone to come be on our team. Because here's the thing. It's not just about getting stuff or it's not, no. This is about believing in the movement, the uprising. The militia. It's about that belief. Okay? Now, some things, that have been said by this other gear company locally. I really like, I have nothing against anyone. I don't have anything against you. Listen, this is business, okay? I, I haven't even recently. I'm just blown away with what's going on. I never came to you when you were running over my area. You were taking away from my business. Did I say a word? No, actually, I promoted you. You think about that before you post something like stay in my lane. I'm sorry. What? Because if anyone is in this lane, it's me. I'm the one with the most championships. I'm the one with the most broken bones. I'm the one that is the lane. Stay in my lane? So I wanted to put this together for everyone to see. I don't know how long I'm going to keep it up, Blondie League, whatever. I don't know. But I wanted everyone to understand exactly what is going on, what has happened, what is all this about. Because if you don't hear my side, if you didn't hear Blondie and I's side of the story, you might think, I don't know why the way these other people treat other people. I don't even know how they're in business. I only want success for anyone that's really, except I want to take down the bigs. Why? Because they've been stealing from riders. People's hard earned money. Hard earned money. And products that are made in sweatshops. Yeah, those. Now, what's us? Our equipment, our stuff is made in America, out in California, from Americans that are feeding their kids. America. You find that offensive? Okay, don't buy our stuff. You find that refreshing? Okay. You might want to join the militia. Okay? You might want to come help us support an American company that's really trying to get back to our roots here as a nation where we make stuff. If not, that's okay. That's okay. But I can tell you this, whether I'm racing or not racing, whether I can walk or don't walk, whatever, as long as this works, I'll be promoting the sport. I will to the most I can because it's something that really saved my life. It really did save my life. And it made something out of my kids and wonderful things. So I do want to say all the supporters and those of you that like, listen, don't get involved. Okay, it's not. But I really appreciate the love of everyone. But this needs to stop. Okay, needs to stop. Okay? Again, we're not. I don't even follow. I don't even know what's going on with them. I don't. I don't. Okay? I'm busy doing this. Willsville Militia, Australian Motocross Scene, the Hero Program, Crank Golf for 9 states. Okay? Yeah. I got a life. I got a life. And it almost all involves helping others. And we're good with that. We're good with it. So, all right. Love you guys. And we'll see you at the track this weekend.